So now it's a heat of the Britannia Challenge Cup between Oslo and Sydney. These coxed fours, the coxers lying down in the front of the boat. So we should see some good steering here, and Sydney staying close to that island and making a pretty solid start.
It'll be interesting to watch this race because the two crews are so totally different.
What are the differences we're looking out for?
Well, N.S.R. Oslo was all Norwegian junior and under 23 medalists and rowers rowing together, whereas Sydney Rowing Club is more of a dog's breakfast. They come from 4 different schools. The 3-man is actually about 24 years old. He went to Cal. The other 3 are 19 years old. And the 2-man, I think, is the largest oarsman in the regatta at 240 pounds. That's, for you English, that's 16 stone plus a bit. A couple of heavy hands in that.
And we can see him there in the 2-seat.
And watch their style. They have 4 different styles in the Sydney boat, but they're making the boat move.
Will O'Connell, a big man in the 2-seat, and he is certainly making the boat move. I think he's leaving his arms out straight in front of him, getting that body weight hanging off the handle, and is moving well. And they've got that little bit of clear water on the Oslo crew, who need to hang in there now, as we see them taking a look over the shoulder from the stroke seat and noticing what the gap's like. They need to work hard now to keep in contact. Don't let that open water get any bigger.
And the Oslo crew, they know the race. They've been here before. The Stern pair lost the Thames Cup finals last year. So they know what happens here. They know in a match race they need to change their race plan and stay with Sydney Rowing Club.
And to be fair, I think they've done that really well. The Oslo crew have actually settled into a really nice looking rhythm to me. Those arms staying out really long and straight, the body's hanging off them, and the boat just slipping through. And I think this one certainly isn't done yet as they come down towards the barrier. And like you say, the experience of the Oslo crew, losing semi-finalists to Molesey in the Thames Cup, will want to come back and make the most of that experience now in Henley 2017. Matthew Pinston stood at the front of the umpire's launch, not being made to work by these coxed boats. It's really the way it should be. Although Oslo, to me, look like they're drifting off the station. They don't want to do that with a cox in the front of the boat. They want to try to make sure they row the absolute minimum distance, don't get involved in any kind of wakes from the Sydney boat.
Plus, every time you touch the rudder, you're slowing the boat down. Anything over a 20-degree angle really slows the boat down.
And you're talking about a rudder here, which is probably not much bigger than a postage stamp in some of these boats, but that's the effect it can make. And I think Oslo, when we get a shot from above or from the side, I think we'll have made inroads here. And I don't think this is going to be a gap of more than a length. And I think it could certainly be a bit less.
A bit less. And Oslo was settled down into a nice rhythm. They're using their international experience not to get rattled on the start.
And you called it, Sean, that you said in the Sydney boat there were 4 different styles going on, 4 different techniques going on, as compared to Oslo, who've moved really smoothly. They held their nerve when Sydney looked to open up that little bit of clear water between the 2 boats. But we see them here as they come past Forley. And there's definitely a very, very close race we have on our hands here.
It's always a difficult gunfight for the first 50 strokes of the start. Someone can go out hard, and it's important to stick with your game plan for the first to the barrier, maybe to Foley, before you really need to do something different. And they've stuck with it.
Like you say, it's a gunfight in these side-by-side races, and we can see it now. It's probably less than half a length between the 2 boats. Sydney in the blue in front of us. Oslo in the red on the far side of us. Oslo trying to come through, but Sydney hanging on to that half length or so lead. Will they be able to do it? Will they be efficient enough, and will they be strong enough? Or will the crew from Oslo be able to come back?
That Sydney stroke man is really giving it everything he has. Charlie Patterson is not giving up without a huge fight.
Yeah, Charlie Patterson, his 3rd visit to Henley. He was in the Thames Cup last year, beat in the Y-Folds and the Prince of Wales. So this is 4th year running, and this time he wants to go away with one of those medals in the red box with the green velvet.
And Sydney Cox needs to watch those booms, not to belabor the point.
No, it's not a good place to be. They should be drifting away from their station a little bit. Oslo pretty much coming down their station. Matthew Pinson still definitely not going to be called into action. But like you say, the Sydney Cox, they've got the boat there.
I'm sure Matthew's hand is on his flag. He's just not bringing it up.
Yeah, well, it's Charles Nicholas lying down the front of that Sydney boat and doesn't want to go for that rudder, but you can see the two crews there come up, and that progress marker has said that they're level. Pretty much the crews are level, if not a tiny lead to Oslo now.
Now that's dispiriting to the Sydney coxswain, who lost sight of Oslo for a while. And now through his left eye, he's seeing them
Oslo
come even.
crept up as he lies there. Charlie Nicholas asking for more from his crew, asking them to see if they can raise it again, use that power and strength that those heavier men from Sydney have, as Oslo are coming through. And still, stroke for stroke, as they're coming towards the enclosures, both crews perfectly synchronized, a mile and the eighth. Who is going to be able to ease this out? The efficiency of Oslo against the power of Sydney.
And you can see Oslo is taking the lead of the deck. They're just getting an extra 2 inches now. And now they have the enthusiasm of coming through Sydney.
Yeah, it's going to give them a lift, isn't it? It's going to be a lift for Oslo that they see themselves in front. And it's going to be demoralizing for Sydney to realize they've been out in front, they've been hanging on with everything they can, and now they're looking behind. So here we see them from this camera on the progress board, the last 10 strokes or so coming down towards the line. And Oslo have been able to open that gap, and it's going to be very painful in that Sydney boat. You can see it etched on their faces as they come down towards the line, but it's a fantastic performance of calmness, of rhythm, of steadiness from the Oslo crew, who take that win, hear that beat, and Sydney has to come over the line, and the heads are going to go down. They're going to feel the pain. They're going to be delighted to be able to stop. So confirmation of that win, the Britannia Challenge Cup for Oslo over the crew from Sydney.
That TV Fans was a classic dual race. 2 different styles, 2 different race plans.
So as we can see, the Sydney crew aren't going to be going anywhere for a while. They're going to be in a lot of pain as they sit there and reflect on what might have been. They went out so hard here off the start, got that lead, and they held on to the lead as long as they possibly could. But that relentless rhythm, the efficiency of the Oslo crew, so experienced, having raced here in the Thames Cup last year, losing in the final, ensured they came through and delivered when it mattered, and they were in front at the point of the race that mattered there on the finish line to take that win.